Hi, this is day 1 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone 5125 color card. This turned out to be a nice purple color with reddish undertones, and I immediately thought of painting red onions. I've been so excited to start this series with my new acrylic gouache. And what are the chances that I would pick out a purple card of all cards, my favorite color, on the first day? This is going to be such a good series. I can feel it in my bones. I have not planned to paint on consecutive days because I do not want to scare myself and pressure myself into painting, but I really do want to improve on my painting, so I am keeping track of the first card I painted versus the last one that I will paint. And here is the final product. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 2 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone Fiesta color card. As soon as I saw this flaming bright orangey red color, I thought of the hottest thing I could think of, which is lava spilling out of an erupting volcano. However, as soon as I thought of that, I realized I had a flaming hot problem, which is that I don't recall ever painting a volcano. But you know, this is one of the main reasons I look forward to continuing this challenge, because it will require me to paint things outside of my comfort zone. Overall, I'm glad I could achieve that high temperature look and add in those beautiful white highlights. I realize that it's quite funny to have the word fiesta sitting under an erupting volcano, but who says you can't have a volcano party? Let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 3 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone Petit Four color card. That's my best attempt at pronouncing it since I do not speak French. Why this color card is a light blue, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure those words have to do with dessert, and I don't know about you, but when I imagine a pastry, it is far away from blue. Anyway, this beautiful blue reminds me of a clear day. I thought of painting some snow-covered rowan tree branches and letting that blue peek through. You know, the funny thing is, I have never seen snowfall or a town covered in snow. I grew up in Thailand, where snow is non-existent, and I now live in Australia, where it is almost non-existent. Honestly, I'm not too sure about how this painting turned out, but it does look good in the sunlight. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 4 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone 7654 color card, which is a light reddish violet kind of color. This was the first time I decided to cover the whole background of the card and mix a similar color to the card in the lavender I was painting. I found this cute stock photo of a bee up close on a lavender branch as my inspo. Lavender and bees are actually both a little furry up close, so I tried to paint that, but I'm not sure how successful I was. And here's some more of me struggling with the background, but it ended up looking kind of like raindrops, so I'm not too mad about it. Purple and yellow are opposite colors, so they are so fun to use together. And sheesh, that bee I painted didn't skip leg day, am I right? And that's the final product. Comment what you would like to see me paint next, and maybe I'll do it. Hi, this is day 5 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the lightest sky color card, which is an off-white color. And what do you think of when you think of off-white? That's right, a plain house wall. I used to not like white walls, but now I think they actually really brighten a small room. I decided to draw some inspiration from my washi tape and paint some houseplants with a window where you can see a bright blue sky. I think this was great because the card is called Lightest Sky. I sometimes wish I was a houseplant person, but I already have my hands full taking care of myself most days. After listening to that section of the recording back, I think that sentence should have ended at, I sometimes wish I was a houseplant. I don't think the greens look very natural in this painting, but I think I'm still getting used to my new gouache. And that's the final product. Comment what you would like to see me paint next and maybe I'll do it. Hi, this is day 6 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the color card Tiger Lily, and we are painting a mandarin fish, which is my favorite kind of fish. Now you may be wondering, why do I have a favorite kind of fish? That's because I work in a research lab and we basically study mostly fish. So this conversation has come up a bunch of times. Now these bright colors on the fish are saying to predators, "Stay the fuck away from me. I am toxic as heck. Do not eat me." And that's just a good vibe that I absolutely love. It was actually hard to fit this whole painting in a 1-minute short because it took me the longest out of all my paintings up to now. I really enjoyed painting the final yellow highlights and the overall high contrast between the orange and blues. And that's the final product. Comment what you would like to see me paint next and maybe I'll do it. Hi, this is day 7 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the 635 Pantone color card and I decided to paint this corner of a vintage blue car. Now, if you know how I paint, I don't usually paint a lot of machinery kind of things. I paint a lot of natural objects, so I thought I would challenge myself today and try to paint a car. Bright blues or mint greens sometimes remind me of vintage cars, and it kind of upsets me that we don't make normal day-to-day cars that we drive now in different colors. Like, why is that more expensive for companies to offer more colors for their cars? Like, they do it with phones. Your girl is out here stuck with a white car when she really wants a nice little lilac color car without having to pay a bloody fortune for it. Anyway, how do you think it turned out? Does it match the photo? I really tried my best and it does look good in the sunlight. Drop a comment with what you would like to see me paint next and maybe I'll do it. Hi, this is day 8 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone 7548 color card, which is a nice solid yellow, and we are painting sunflowers. I have had requests to paint sunflowers in my YouTube comments, so here's my attempt. I wanted to create the illusion of a field, so the sunflowers in the front are bigger than the ones in the background, which I just made tiny dots for. Sorry if it's a bit of a mess at the beginning, but just trust the process, or don't, either way the result is going to be exactly the same. It was a little hard to layer the bright yellow onto the dark green at some points, but I think doing the little dots in the center and petal details really helped. And this is the final product. I'm so glad I had some sunlight on that day to show off this card, and if you requested sunflowers, I hope I did you proud. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next, and maybe I'll do it. Hi, this is day 10 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone 199 color card, which is a beautiful bright red color, and I am painting a red mushroom with white spots on a forest floor. I had about maybe 20 minutes of sunlight left, so I didn't use any sort of reference. This is just what came out of my head, and I painted it quite quickly. Mushrooms are very fun because they come in so many colors and fun shapes, so it's good practice if you would like to paint something easy. The background is a very dark green, but it is a little hard to see on camera. I feel like this painting gives off slight magical vibes, like maybe there's a little fairy living inside my mushroom. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you liked it. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next, and maybe I'll do it. I said maybe, okay, if I can. Alright, bye. Hi, this is day 10 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone 199 color card, which is a beautiful bright red color, and I am painting a red mushroom with white spots on a forest floor. I had about maybe 20 minutes of sunlight left, so I didn't use any sort of reference. This is just what came out of my head, and I painted it quite quickly. Mushrooms are very fun because they come in so many colors and fun shapes, so it's good practice if you would like to paint something easy. The background is a very dark green, but it is a little hard to see on camera. I feel like this painting gives off slight magical vibes, like maybe there's a little fairy living inside my mushroom. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you liked it. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next, and maybe I'll do it. I said maybe, okay, if I can. Alright, bye. Hi, this is day 11 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone Rust color card, and I decided to paint something suggested in my YouTube comment section, a mythical creature like a centaur. I never paint anything of this sort, so I am way out of my comfort zone here. Female centaurs are apparently called centaurides or centauruses, which I had never thought about before Googling it. I also made her an archer to pay tribute to my meaningless zodiac sign, Sagittarius, and did a little starry night background to go with it. I feel like in the end, the painting has a kind of tarot card vibe to it. Like, I suddenly feel like I can charge you a lot of money to make a prediction about your future. Anyway, I'm not too sure if I like how it turned out. There are some cute elements to it, but let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 12 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone Cactus Flower color card and I decided to paint something suggested in my YouTube comment section, a sunset. I honestly already knew that I wanted to paint a sunset eventually when I started this challenge, and this painting is well within my comfort zone, since sunsets are some of my favorite things to paint. I decided to go for a bright, solid pink sunset with purple, blue, yellow, and orange hues. I feel like I'm finally starting to see a small progress in how I use the acrylic gouache, and I think this is my best painting up to now. I'm also glad I picked pink to work with since I think it's a more unique color in this case. So yeah, let me know if you would like to see another sunset painting and what colors I should use for it. Or let me know if you would like to see me paint something else. Hi, this is day 13 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone Bottle Green color card and I decided to paint something suggested in my YouTube comment section, two swans in a lotus pond. At first, I was slightly unsure if green was the best card to pick out for this painting, but in the end I am super happy with my choice. It reminds me of a nice peaceful forest. I am also happy with how I worked with the shadows in the water of the lotus pads and the swans. I sometimes get scared of painting a whole scene like this because I usually stick to one object, but this has encouraged me to try out more scenery paintings in the future. Hope you like this painting. Feel free to check out some of my other Pantone card paintings like my previous pink sunset one, and let me know if you have any ideas for what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 14 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone 485 color card, which is a nice bright red color, and I decided to paint something suggested in my Instagram comment section, a fairy tale ladybug. Now I believe this person wanted a ladybird that looks non-realistic, so I decided to channel my inner abstract artist and paint something more psychedelic looking, I guess you could call it. I gave the ladybug some heart spots instead of the round dots we are usually used to, and did a fun circle background. In the end, I enjoyed the randomness of this painting, and you can use your imagination to decide where this little bug is floating around in, and let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching. Hi, this is day 15 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone 152 color card and I decided to paint my favorite animal. Tigers are endangered species due to humans causing habitat destruction and fragmentation. Although wild numbers of tigers have been starting to increase in the past few years, they are still exploited for body parts, but the notion that tigers hold any medicinal benefits is completely false. Also, it is estimated that there are more captive tigers in the US than wild tigers in their natural habitat, which I find crazy to think about. As a scientist, it has always kind of been my hope that one day I can work with tigers in some way to try and save more of them. Anyway, this was my first time that I've painted a tiger without sketching it first. How do you think I did? I enjoyed trying to combine the different oranges, and I always love painting in the black stripes. I'll see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 16 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone 291 color card, which is a beautiful sky blue, and I decided to paint something suggested in my YouTube comment section a whole month ago. I know, this series is going super slow. My life has been a little busy, but I am back in action and I am painting a hot air balloon. Now, my only goal with this painting was to make the balloon actually look inflated. The tough part about painting anything filled with air is that it can really quickly look flat if you don't put any shading or highlights. I really did try my best. I don't think it looks flat, so I'm happy with how it turned out. I picked some nice sunset looking colors to go because it's probably one of my favorite color combos at this point, and I did some happy little clouds in the background. Hope you liked it. I still have a lot of painting suggestions on my list, so stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 17 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Deep Cobalt color card and I decided to paint something moon related, which was a suggestion from my TikTok comments. I honestly feel like I struggle when I try to paint with a limited color palette because I feel like I'm not very skilled in creating light, shade, and depth. I usually like packing as many bright colors in my paintings as possible, but it is a reminder to not be too hard on myself because this is why I'm doing this challenge in the first place, to improve my painting. I looked at a few photos of a full moon, but in the end, I didn't use any references to paint this. I loved making the water appear sparkly with the white highlights and adding the little glow around the moon. If you have any ideas for what you would like to see me paint next, let me know, and thank you so much for continuing to watch my painting journey. Hi, this is day 18 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Deep Forest color card and I decided to paint something with flames, like a campfire, which was a suggestion from my TikTok comments. Now, this painting started out a little rough because the initial fire outline I created was a bit too big and wonky, so I fixed it. Who knew that painting a fire was this complicated? So many strokes, so many shades of yellow and orange. But in the end, I think I pulled off a kind of playful fire look, if you get what I mean. It doesn't look scary or dangerous at all, but literally nothing I paint does, so nothing new there. I haven't eaten a s'more in ages, by the way, and this fire is making me hungry for nice roasted marshmallows. If you're an adult, tell me when the last time you had a s'more was, or just tell me a recipe I can make in my oven, because I don't have a gas flame stove. Everything's electrical over here. Anyway, I hope you like the painting. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 19 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone 383 color card and I decided to paint one of my favorite drinks to get at a cafe, a matcha latte. I sometimes get it with soy milk as well, and it is literally chef's kiss. Matcha reminds me of peace and calm, and it is my go-to drink when I am feeling stressed or tired since I am not a coffee drinker. I'm going to allow all you people with your bitter bean juice to stay, but I will never understand how or why you drink it. While I was painting this, my water cup turned the exact same green color, which made me want to drink it, but I didn't. Don't drink paint, besties. Let me know what your favorite cafe drink is and why it's your go-to. I'll see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 20 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Blossom color card and I decided to paint something special to me based on a reference photo which I will show at the end. This was definitely a challenge since I don't particularly enjoy painting hands, but who does? I'm a fifth of the way through this challenge and I feel like I'm finally starting to let go of overthinking what my painting will look like at the end. I have mostly accepted that my paintings come out in my style, and if I nitpick at every single little mistake I make, then I will never be able to paint anything at all. Anyway, this photo was taken on my engagement day and it was a lovely moment to think about while painting. I also feel like the word blossom underneath really ties it together too. Hope you liked it. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 21 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone 166 color card and I decided to paint a monarch butterfly. Last week, I parked my car in the morning at work as I usually do, and as I opened the door and stepped outside, I saw a monarch butterfly on the pavement right in front of me. I was honestly quite surprised to see one since they are an introduced species in South Australia and I had never seen one in my 6 years of living here, so I took a picture. Males can be distinguished by a black spot in the lower center of each hindwing, so this one I found was actually a female. I gently picked her up and moved her out of the car park area, but I don't know if she made it in the end. It was a very cold day and she wasn't really flying properly, so rest in peace, beautiful butterfly. Thanks for making my morning less gloomy. Hope you liked my painting. I'll see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 22 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Fur color card and I decided to paint something suggested from my Instagram, polar lights or auroras. I have always dreamed of seeing these amazing natural light displays with my own eyes one day. They are complex to explain, there's a lot of physics and chemistry involved, but basically from what I understand, in high latitude regions like the North and South Poles, ions of solar wind collide with atoms of oxygen and nitrogen in the Earth's atmosphere and release energy. This energy that we see is most commonly a greenish color due to the high amount of oxygen and our ability to see green better than any other color on the spectrum. So green dominates, but they can also be red or combine to form pinks, yellows, and rarely blue or ultraviolet. Hope you liked my painting and learned something new. I'll see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 23 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Black Iris color card and I decided to paint an astronaut in space. When I was like 5 years old, I really wanted to visit the moon and be a little astronaut out in my spacesuit looking at all the stars and planets of our galaxy. Then I got older and I realized how much is actually involved in space traveling, and I very quickly decided that going to the moon was not for me. But just imagine being able to see the whole Earth like that and feeling so tiny and small. It must be such a crazy experience. I also just learned that the word astronaut is derived from the Greek words for star and sailor, and I think we should all just start calling them star sailors, to be honest. Like, how much cooler does that sound? Anyway, hope you enjoyed my painting. Let me know if you have any ideas for what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 24 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone 214 color card, and with all the hype about the new Barbie movie coming out, I decided to paint a hot pink heel. I, for one, am quite excited for the new movie. The sets look super fun, and I'm hoping the storyline will be interesting as well. I don't think I have ever painted a shoe before, and it was a little hard to make it look kind of glossy, but I feel like that white stripe highlight did help achieve it in the end. I also felt that it looked a little plain all by itself, so I added some little hearts coming out of it. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this girly aesthetic so much for this painting, but I guess I have my moments. It also definitely reminds me very much of one of my favorite movies ever, Legally Blonde. Iconic. I hope you enjoyed my painting. Let me know if you have any ideas for what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 25 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Holy moly, we are a fourth of the way through this challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Caramel color card and I decided to paint, not caramel, but even better, a batch of freshly baked cinnamon rolls. Chef's kiss. Using a reference photo that I took myself when I pulled them out of my oven. This is my first attempt in this challenge and possibly ever to paint food, and let me tell you, it was not easy. Like, how are you supposed to make something look yummy, chewy, and gooey at the same time? It's dang well near impossible. I really tried my best, and it made me quite hungry. I think that adding the last bits of white icing on top did tie it all together. I am also really excited to try to paint something like perhaps noodles in the future, so let me know if you would like to see that or anything else you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 26 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone 277 color card and I decided to paint something suggested by one of you, something from the movie Up. And once I start painting it, I'm sure you will recognize this iconic scene with all the balloons lifting the house up into the sky. It was pretty fun pulling out all the rainbow paint colors I had for this one, and here you can observe me painting a whole bunch of dots and just praying that they look somewhat like balloons by the end of it. And don't even get me started on how the house doesn't really look like a house. But overall, I am not too mad at this. It really turned into a very cute card, and I would love to paint a few more movie-inspired things. If you have any suggestions, please drop them down below, and maybe check out some of my other paintings, if you wish to. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 27 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone 7737 color card, which is a nice dark lime green, and you will never guess what I'm painting. That's right, a lime slice. A lime is so amazing because it has this kind of like unassuming appearance, and then you add it to a dish, bam, it transforms it. I love adding them to my fried rice and pad thai. Chef's kiss. There's also this thing called Lyme disease, not to be confused with the Lyme disease spelled with a Y. But basically, people who handle limes a lot could develop skin reactions from the lime peel or juice being exposed to ultraviolet light because it contains certain chemical compounds. Anyway, the crazy stuff you find on Wikipedia at 12 a.m., am I right? I hope you enjoyed this painting, and if you made it to the end, let me know some of your favorite fruits in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 28 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Russet Orange color card, and I decided to paint some colorful paper lanterns. If you've been following me for a while, you may know that I grew up in Thailand, where these types of lanterns are frequently used as decorations for festivals and celebrations. People would either hang them up outside or carry them on sticks for parades and shows. I recently went to visit a Thai festival here in Adelaide, where I live now, and I snapped a picture of the lanterns that they had displayed there. Watching them blow peacefully in the wind really brought me back to my childhood. I'm happy with how this painting turned out and how I managed to use the yellow ochre color to reconstruct the golden details of the lanterns. Check out some of my other paintings if you get the chance, and let me know if you have any ideas for what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 29 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Grass Green color card, and I decided to paint a snake eye. I've always wanted to paint close-up reptile scales because they look both surreal and real at the same time. And in my quest to read as many Wikipedia pages as possible, I perused the color section of the article on snake scales and found out that most of them are actually transparent, and the colors are due to pigment in the inner snake skin layers. But blue and green scales are special, because blue is caused by the structure of the scale, which diffracts light, and green happens when that structure, which looks blue, interacts with the yellow skin underneath and makes the scale look green. I'm sorry, but how freaking crazy is that? Anyway, let me know what other things you would like me to paint so I can read more Wikipedia sections. Hi, this is day 30 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I decided to paint something suggested in my TikTok comments, an entrance to a magical world. This person also suggested for this entrance to be log-shaped, so I just interpreted and imagined that as a wooden door opening in the middle of a dark forest into something very bright with a few flowers or golden magic dust. I didn't use any references for this, and I feel like it shows that I am way out of my comfort zone in painting here, but I really did try my best. I decided to also try to paint some bright light streaming out of the door with very diluted yellow paint. I've only recently began trying to focus on where light is coming from in my paintings, so I am a beginner at this. For not being a big scenery painter, I think this turned out quite nice, and I conveyed that magical feeling I was looking for. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 31 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone Cool Gray 7 color card, and I decided to paint a mother dolphin and her calf swimming peacefully in the ocean. Dolphins are wonderful species, but some populations are threatened, mostly due to human activities, like water pollution, which in turn leaves their immune systems weak and easily affected by diseases. Some of you may not know this about me, but when I'm not painting, I work in molecular ecology, where I play a small role in projects that help conserve native Australian species. I've had the privilege to extract DNA for some dolphin samples, which has helped us find out more about their genetics and hopefully help us conserve them overall. I really am happy with the little sparkles and the light painting I did in this one. Let me know if there's another species you would like to see me paint, and feel free to check out some of my other paintings as well. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 32 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone 493 color card, and I decided to paint something suggested by my mom, a pink robin. This small, puffy bird is native to southeastern Australia, and its species is sexually dimorphic. This means that the males and females exhibit different visible characteristics, and in this case, the male robins have this bright pink chest and belly, dispelling the myth once and for all that boys can't wear pink. I highly enjoyed painting in the tiny strokes to give the notion of soft feathers and those stick legs, which are not proportionate at all to the body. If you look up a picture of a pink robin, you would think these legs are photoshopped. Hope you enjoyed this fluffy boy, and I will see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 33 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone Swedish Blue color card, and I decided to paint something suggested in my YouTube comments, a coral reef. I took a very freehand approach to this painting and didn't use a reference at all, so all these color choices and patterns are from my head. Some people think corals are plants or rocks, but they are actually animals that form a main part of diverse reef ecosystems. It's estimated that about 25% of ocean fish depend on healthy coral reefs for shelter, food, and reproduction. Reefs also provide billions of dollars in economic value, but sadly 60% are at risk due to human activities. Hope this was a good reminder to always support protecting our ecosystems because you are part of them too. Hi, this is day 34 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone Freesia color card, and I decided to paint something from Beauty and the Beast, which was a movie suggested in my comments section, and I picked Belle's iconic yellow ball gown. This painting was a bit of a mess at the beginning. I just didn't feel like my yellow was yellowing enough. Then after staring at the reference photo for a good while, I started to realize that this dress has way more orange bits in it than I remember. Then my phone camera decided to shut off because it was too hot, so I missed out on filming the background. But as all things, I added sparkles on top, and surely that solved all my issues. Also, I showed this painting to my cousin, who thought I painted a seashell. So yeah, here's to never painting a clothing item ever again. I'll see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 35 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Raw Sienna color card, and I decided to paint a person's eye. I had never painted an eye before this, and for my first time I feel like I did alright. I haven't painted anything in about 2 months just because my life has gotten busy, but I am back at it again. I've had a long list of suggestions and I'm tackling them one by one, so stay tuned if you did suggest something. Australia is actually in summer right now, so I've had more daylight to work with while painting, and that has been better for my mental health, which has been a bit up and down these past months. The only issue I had with this final painting is that I feel like the eyelashes don't look wispy enough, if that makes sense, but the skin texture I feel looks pretty decent. Anyway, as always, let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 36 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Winter Wheat color card, and I decided to paint something suggested in my TikTok comments, a hamster. Ah yes, the twitchy whiskers, the tiny paws, the fuzzy hair, the hoarding cheeks, the nibbly mouth, the droopy eyes. What else can we add to the list of impossible things to paint? Sorry, I just always struggle a bit with the furry mammal texture, but this one turned out alright. Also, Winter Wheat would be such a cute name for a hamster. Oh, and I decided to give her a tiny flower crown too. Check out some of my other paintings if you wish to. I don't think they will be as cute as this one though, and let me know if you have any ideas for what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 37 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Pirate Black color card, and I decided to paint something suggested in my YouTube comments, a scary looking fish, and I immediately thought of an anglerfish. And my oh my, what an interesting Wikipedia page these guys have. That little stick sprouting out of their heads is actually called an elysium. and that light bulb at the end of it is called an esca. The source of the light is symbiotic bacteria, but actually not all of them light up like that. So there's some anglerfish out there that just have plain old boring fishing rods. Anyway, I hope you like the teeth, a nice contrast to the cute hamster I painted last time. Let me know if you have anything you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 38 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Picante color card and I decided to paint something suggested in my YouTube comments, a red panda. There's lots of photos of these mammals laying lazily on tree branches and I found that really endearing to paint. Also, surprise surprise, these guys are not closely related to giant pandas, which are bears, but instead they are closer to raccoons, weasels, and skunks. Although giant pandas and red pandas have both independently evolved false thumbs and the bamboo diet despite having the digestive system of carnivores. This is called convergent evolution just because the biologist in me has to mention it. The little white flowers in the background I feel really ties this piece together. Let me know if you have anything you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 39 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone 5405 color card and I decided to paint something suggested in my TikTok comments, a planet. But I then decided why paint one when I can paint all of them, and Pluto, whatever it may be. I'm not about to bully Pluto today. It can come to the party. There's enough space for it. My favorite planet is Venus because hot fire, burn bright. You know, just a lovely reminder of my cavewoman roots. When I was a kid, I used to love reading and learning about our solar system, but as an adult, it now just gives me existential dread. Anyway, let me know your favorite planet, and if you don't have one, come to the Venus side. We have fire that can melt lead. Let me know if you have anything you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 40 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Striking Purple color card and I decided to paint, well, I guess let's wait until the end and I'll tell you because I'm not certain if this one came out right. You know when you go to those aquariums, right, and there's screaming kids, it costs an arm and a leg to have your picture taken and sold to you. There's fish in there that you question if they really like it in there, you know, all the good things. And there's always this tank with a bunch of transparent floaty things. If you're at the cheaper aquariums, they're usually plastic, but if you go to a big fancy one, you get the real life transparent jellyfish. And then they shine all these different colors on them and it looks cool. Yeah, that's what I was trying to paint. Hi, this is day 41 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone 1797 color card, which is a bright red color, and I decided to paint a poinsettia or a Christmas flower. This plant has a very interesting Wikipedia page. Aztecs were the first to cultivate it, and it's the world's most economically important potted plant. Their natural habitats are the tropical dry forests of South America, but these areas are experiencing deforestation, so it's leading to decreases in wild populations. The reason its leaves are red is because of something called photoperiodism, which is a physiological reaction to a period of darkness. My next two paintings will also be Christmas themed, so I'll see you then. Hi, this is day 42 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Apple Green color card and I decided to paint The Grinch's Hand. This was one of my favorite books to read as a kid and I will read you my favorite page which always pulls on my heartstrings. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? Christmas came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. Hi, this is day 43 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Morning Mist color card and I decided to paint a simple Christmas wreath to finish off my small series of Christmas themed cards. I was honestly a little tired on this day and didn't put too much detail in the painting. I just picked what colors came naturally, but I think it turned out quite cute in the end. Sometimes it's really great when I leave negative space and let the painting breathe a little. I feel like this would make a nice postcard to actually send out. Merry Christmas if you are celebrating, and let me know if you have any ideas for what I should paint next. Hi, this is day 44 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Orchid Bloom color card and I decided to paint some jacarandas. These purple flowers are native to the tropical and subtropical regions of the Americas. Here in Adelaide, they bloom in spring, from late October to December, and they are surely one of my favorites. When my fiancé came to visit this year, we took some engagement photos with them, and they turned out so great. Honestly, I'm a bit annoyed at myself because the acrylic gouache does take a bit more patience to blend sometimes, and I feel that I rushed this painting a little. Anyway, it's still kind of cute. Let me know if you have any ideas for what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 45 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Almond color card and I decided to paint something suggested in my TikTok comments, an owl. The type I picked is called a great horned owl. I've never seen one before since they are native to the Americas and I have never been there. These birds have very interesting horn-like feathers on their heads which are called plumicorns, and no one really knows why exactly. The best guess is that plumicorns could be used as visual cues for social and territorial interactions. Animals are some of my favorite things to paint, so whenever someone requests one, it makes me so happy. I have a lot of yellowish and peachy toned cards left, so let me know if there's anything you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 46 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone 7720 color card, which is a dark green, and I decided to paint something to celebrate this new year, 2024. The dark green reminded me of a champagne bottle, and of course I had to add a little glass next to it. I chose a pink label and wrapping to make it pop nicely from the green and added lots of small highlights and sparkles since I didn't want to change the background color. She can't blend, but at least she's got decent color theory, you know. I am celebrating this new year in Thailand with some of my family. I truly wish you all well. Happy holidays, happy new year. Thank you for watching this series this year, and I will see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 47 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge, and I picked out the Warm Gray 2 Pantone color card. I have a confession to make. I play Minesweeper almost daily, and anyone who I've ever mentioned this to looks at me really funny, so there you go, my secret is out in the open. My dad taught me how to play this game. I'm pretty sure it was on Windows XP when I was very young. Since then, I play the original version of it online, and I have, on more occasions than I'd like to admit, caused finger and hand pain from clicking like crazy with my shitty little mouse. Your girl over here can't solve a Rubik's Cube to save her life, but she can find you all 99 mines on an expert level board in about 100 seconds. As for this painting, I think it turned out super cute. I am happy I managed to make the mine buttons look like they are 3D, and fun fact, this is a painted screenshot of an actual game I played. Hi, this is day 48 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked out the Aspen Gold Pantone color card and I decided to paint something suggested in my YouTube comments, an Ara parrot, also known as a macaw. These spectacularly colored large birds are native to the neotropical realm of Central and South America. Their genus name, Ara, comes from the Tupi language, and it's an onomatopoeia of the sound that the bird makes. Humans have always been enthralled with the genus as they show up in many historical records, and they are still sadly popular with bird smugglers. This blue and yellow macaw usually mates for life, and apparently the brighter and bolder their colors, the better chance of getting a mate. Also, with the right diet and care, they can live for up to 60 years or more in captivity, which is mind-blowing to me. My favorite thing to paint is the natural world around us, and I hope I did this striking macaw justice. Hi, this is day 49 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked out the Desert Sand color card and I decided to paint something which was sent to me via an Instagram DM, a Hawaiian snail, also known as kahuli. These native island snails are endangered due to factors such as invasive species like rats and chameleons. Some populations are highly inbred, which has led to a loss of genetic diversity, and as we are quickly finding out, less genetically diverse species don't fare as well when environmental stressors come into play. I would like to thank Gracie who DM'd me this suggestion, since I have now learned something new about an area of the world I was not so familiar with. I'll link the Hawaiian government website I got my information from in the description. They have some absolutely stunning photos of these beautiful snails. They also describe the amazing work scientists are doing to protect kahuli, and I highly encourage you check it out. Hi, this is day 50 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge, meaning we have reached the halfway point. I picked out the Pantone 466 color card and I decided to paint something suggested in my YouTube comments, a lion, or Panthera leo. This charismatic apex predator is distributed across Africa, and actually there is a small population left in Western India as well. The most recognizable feature that most male lions have is their mane. There is some relationship between having a bigger mane and staying in charge of your pride. There's also another hypothesis, though, that thicker hair around their necks can protect them in fights from other lions. Humans have interacted with this species for ages now, and they are listed as vulnerable. Let me know if there's another species you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 51 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked out the Pantone 9180 color card and I decided to paint my favorite thing ever, a pizza slice. There are many a day where I have drowned out my sorrows but also celebrated my achievements with a pizza slice. My favorite pizza toppings include, but are not limited to, pepperoni, olives, mushrooms, pineapple, and if you don't like pineapple on pizza, you can go fuck. I will absolutely pick off every single bell pepper or capsicum bit that is on my slice. Don't need that energy in my life. But yeah, I'm super happy with this painting. I feel like it turned out airy, light, just chef's kiss. And honestly, I'm hungry now. Let me know what other food item you think I should paint next. Hi, this is day 52 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked out the Pantone Moon Rock color card and I decided to paint a cat. Moon Rock sounded like something you could name your cat, so why not? I must preface this with I have never painted a domesticated cat before, and if I were to do it again, I probably would have done some things differently. I feel like some of the proportions are a little off, like the eyes are too big, but whatever. There are many things I could say about cats. If you want to read a long-ass Wikipedia page, try cat. I will tell you one cool thing though. They have a nictitating membrane, which is basically a third transparent eyelid that allows them to blink without affecting their vision. And I have never thought about that until reading it just now. Hope you liked my painted cat Moonrock, and let me know what other things you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 53 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked out the Pantone 9241 color card and I decided to paint the comfiest place in my home, my bed. Also, today I have my mom here with me. She's visiting. Mom, can you rate my bed comfort out of 10?
Yes, 10.
What if I ask you to rate sleeping next to me on the bed out of 10?
8.
Why?
Because you take up 80% of the bed.
Great, thanks Mom. I think you're done with the narrating today. I sleep with 2 stuffed pigs, which I have had to gently remove since she has been here, but it's still comfy. I painted them from a reference photo of a day where my bed was all decked out in pink sheets. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 54 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Nile Blue color card and I decided to paint 2 floating sea otters. Sea otters hold paws when they sleep on water to prevent drifting apart. Sometimes there are big groups of otters floating together, which are called rafts. Sea otters have the thickest fur out of any animal, which makes them a target for fur hunters, but now the most significant threat to them are oil spills. If their fur gets soaked with oil, it loses the ability to retain air, which can cause them to die of hypothermia. They could also ingest this toxic oil when grooming. Sea otters are listed as endangered, and conservation efforts are focused on genetically informed captive breeding and reintroducing them back into the wild. Hope you enjoyed my sleepy sea otters. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 55 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. Today I picked the Pantone Celestial color card, and here you can watch me mess up a painting. My idea was a porcelain vase, and it started out looking okay, but then I sort of didn't use any references for the pattern on the vase and I winged it, which turned out alright, but then I also decided a background was necessary, which it totally wasn't, and I feel like that messed it up real good. I think I was a bit tired that day, and I know that when I'm tired, I can't paint, so I'll blame it on that. Also, some of you may not know this about me, but I grew up in Thailand, so I speak some Thai, and the number 5 in Thai is ha, and people frequently use it in chatting to express laughter, so typing 2 5s in the row would be ha ha, and since this painting is number 55, I think the expression is accurate. I'll laugh at myself, and on to the next one we go. Hi, this is day 56 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked out the Pantone Peony color card, and I have nothing much to say about this painting, but I am going to play you a voice recording of me in bed at 2 a.m. when I couldn't stop overthinking, so I just decided to take out my phone and record my thoughts. Here it goes. I spend so many of my waking hours just outside, staring at the clouds in the sky, at the leaves on the trees, just thinking about how I can paint them, how I can show the beauty of the world that is around me. But then my thoughts still wander to all the other places in the world where this beauty could have been, but humans have ruined it. Hi, this is day 57 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked out the Pantone Faded Denim color card, and I decided to paint raindrops on a flat surface. This technique is super simple and fun to do. Start with a base color and make different sized blobs. You can lengthen some of them to look like the drops are flowing, and you can also splatter some of the color in certain areas to make it look like very tiny droplets. Next, use a darker color that you can paint in the shadow outlines with. Make sure they're all sort of on the same side of the droplets to imitate where your light source is coming from. Lastly, take a white color and highlight the opposite parts of your shadows and add in a few more shades to define the droplets. Most importantly, make sure you're having fun. Let me know if there's anything you would like to learn how to paint, and maybe I can help you out in the next one. Hi, this is day 58 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked out the Pantone 7415 color card, and I decided to paint from a reference picture I took in Thailand of a temple at sunset. I grew up in a city called Chiang Mai for 17 years of my life and have always loved the unique architecture there. It's a major part of Thailand's culture, community, and religious beliefs. The word for temple in Thai is wat, and this type of 3-roof decorative structure I am painting here is called a lam yong. The roof edges are sculpted as undulating serpents with points shaped like the head of a Garuda bird-like creature. Temples often have these beautiful, intricate sculptures and paintings that you can spend ages staring at, and this painting really reminded me of my wonderful time spent living in Thailand. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 59 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked out the Pantone Tangerine color card, and take a guess at what I'm painting. You guessed right, a tangerine. Apparently, all tangerines are mandarins, but not all mandarins are tangerines. The word originally an adjective meaning native of Tangier in Morocco and started being used in the 1800s. And as I kept diving deeper into the Wikipedia black hole, I also found a citrus taxonomy page. And one of the first sentences on this page is, "Citrus taxonomy is complex and controversial." There's so many hybrids and similar looking fruits that people are trying to find out about. Anyway, I just want to say I absolutely love this painting. The contrast of the blue and orange colors, spectacular. The shine I managed to paint on the tangerine, chef's kiss, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 60 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 476 color card, and I decided to paint something suggested in my YouTube comments, a platypus. I have something embarrassing I have to admit. Before I came to Australia, I had never thought too hard about platypuses, but when I had heard about them and saw a few pictures, I assumed they were the size of like a smaller alligator, maybe a meter or two. Come to find out, they are only about 50 centimeters. Anyway, these are such interesting animals. The platypus is an egg-laying mammal, also known as a monotreme. Males have venom in their back ankle spurs, and just in 2020, we found out that their fur glows bluish-green with a black light. Some populations of platypuses have also declined because of habitat disruptions from dams and irrigation, so we should definitely do more to protect such unique species. Hi, this is day 61 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Candy Pink color card and I am so excited because I am painting cotton candy, or as an Australian would say, fairy floss. This sugary treat has got to make it up there on my list of things that I will never refuse if they are available. Apparently, one of the inventors of the cotton candy machine was a dentist. Fancy that. I wasn't too sure how I would paint the wispy bits, but I figured out quick enough that using a drier brush with slightly frayed bristles and a small amount of paint in circular motions would actually work wonders for the texture I was trying to create, if you ever need to paint this for some reason. Also, it reminds me of something out of a Dr. Seuss story. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 62 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Caribbean Sea color card and I am painting water caustics. I totally encourage you to try this painting technique out for yourself, and here's how to do it. Start with a darker color and paint some connected different sized blobs. Make sure you round off all the corners since water is fluid and definitely does not look boxy. Next, take a lighter shade of blue and try to follow the same pattern of shadow blobs you created. Make sure you're not painting directly on top though, just angle them slightly so the shadow still peeks through. I then added a bit of shading within the blobs just to give it more depth, but this is optional. Then trace those lighter blobs with an even lighter blue, and lastly, trace them again with a thin line of pure white. You can also add a few small circular bubbles floating around. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm personally excited to maybe try a rainbow color one in the future. Hi, this is day 63 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Whisper Pink color card and I am painting a redback spider, the Australian black widow. Females are about 1 centimeter and usually display the more clear red stripe, which serves as a great warning for how venomous they are. If you get bitten, it's not life-threatening if you're generally healthy, but can cause quite severe pain. I found one of these spiders in my dorm room the first week I came to Australia, but honestly, they don't move much unless you annoy them, which I of course had to do to get it out of my living quarters. Overall, they are pretty chill compared to other spiders, preferring dry and dark corners of some human-inhabited places like sheds or toys left outside. As for this painting, I'm happy with the shadow I was able to create under the speeder to make it look like it was popping off the paper. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 64 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 4685 color card and I am painting an abomination. I'm about to have Australians disown me today. I don't get why this thing was ever created. Fairy bread, sliced white bread, the worst of the breads, butter, but usually it's substituted with Nuttelex or margarine, and sprinkles, or as Australians call them, hundreds and thousands. Aesthetically, cute rainbow triangles. Taste-wise, as something to feed children at parties, 0 out of 10. Just something about hard rocks sitting in a layer of fat on a fluffy surface makes me uncomfortable. And sprinkles taste like nothing anyway. You're at a party, there's fruits, donuts, cakes, fries, pizza, chocolate, cupcakes. Who is reaching for the fairy bread? If you are reaching for the fairy bread, please let me know your thought process because I think it's just another food that people are brainwashed into liking as a child, then as adults they think it's good. Painting it was fun though. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 65 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 108 color card and I am painting a bright yellow rubber duck. Rubber ducks were created in the late 1800s when it became possible to more easily shape rubber. However, the first rubber ducks couldn't float and were instead used as chew toys. Some of the world's largest rubber ducks weigh up to 1,000 kilograms. People also race them on rivers in these massive events. I mean, the Wikipedia page for this toy is stacked full of fun facts. As for my painting, I knew going into it that it was going to be tough to paint for me. I feel like I struggle painting human-made objects compared to natural objects, but I am hoping that practicing more subjects like this will help me develop this skill. Hope you enjoyed my rubber duck with cool sunnies. Hi, this is day 66 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Sauterne color card and I am painting a quick mini rendition of Van Gogh's iconic sunflowers. This shade of sort of mustardy yellow ochre, which I would usually not gravitate towards for myself to paint with, immediately made me think of this original masterpiece. It's striking how the dull yellow shades and a dash of green and blue beautifully capture the wilted sunflowers, turning them into something inspiring to look at. A lot of people say don't copy, but honestly, I find it the best and most relaxing way to practice strokes, color choosing, and composition. If you do it mindfully, there is nothing wrong with trying to replicate a lovely artwork you admire, since it's how you can learn as an artist. I hope you enjoyed my simplified version of these sunflowers, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 67 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Rainy Day color card and I am painting just that, a rainy day but with a fun surprise. This was very fitting since I painted this while it was raining outside, so as the rain fell gently against my window, my painting transformed to capture the outside atmosphere, but I disliked the gray color in the sky, so I decided to paint in a burst of color, a rainbow. This optical phenomenon apparently only appears on one planet in our solar system, the one you are sitting on, Earth. So next time you see a rainbow of any kind, just remember how lucky you are to not have been born on Mars. And just because we all need a mental health reminder that even in the midst of rainstorms, there is always a promise of something brighter ahead. Hi, this is day 68 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 414 color card and I am painting something suggested in my YouTube comments, a gang cockatoo. These birds are mostly gray, but the males have a red head and crest, and honestly, every single picture I've seen of these guys looks like they just woke up and are having a crazy hair day. They're easily identified through calls which apparently sound like creaky gates or corks being pulled from wine bottles. Gangs are currently protected because they are vulnerable in southeastern Australia, and in 2021 it was announced that the population had declined by almost 70% in the last 20 years. As a biologist, it breaks my heart to think that we could lose these birds, but sadly it's the reality for a lot of species on our planet today. Hi, this is day 69 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 3985 color card and I am painting something suggested in my YouTube comments, a squirrel. I also decided to place it in a nice forest, so you're going to have to trust me on this color choice. I don't have that many cards left. Squirrels are very diverse and can live in almost any habitat, adapting to deserts, rainforests, and polar regions. Also, fun fact, they can smell food buried under a foot of snow, and in 2023 they were successfully trained in China to sniff out drugs, just like police dogs. I really tried my best with this painting. In the end, I think it looks like something out of a chill video game, so that's cool. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 70 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 100 color card, which is supposed to be the same color as the box cover, but I left the box in the sunlight too often. Anyway, someone suggested in my YouTube comments to paint something using all tones of my favorite color, which is purple, so that's what I'm doing. With acrylic gouache, I also had to use white to lighten the purple because it's not like watercolor. I picked this bright yellow to contrast nicely with purple since they are opposite colors. I had in mind mountains or dunes perhaps with a moon on a faraway planet, and honestly, I really liked the end result. It's simple yet effective and I enjoyed the fun textures I was able to create. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 71 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 142 color card and I decided to paint something suggested in my YouTube comments, a haunted house. I bet you weren't expecting me to pick this bright-ass yellow for this painting prompt, but I immediately thought of a huge yellow moon and went from there. The main colors I picked don't make it look too scary, but more spooky and reminds me of a cute kid's Halloween movie. I feel like it also conveys some sort of mystery and wonder because the starry sky and yellow fields look magical. At the beginning, I didn't know how this was going to turn out since I don't paint a lot of this style of prompt, but I can see that my skills have truly improved by the textures and light I was able to create, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Hi, this is day 72 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 732 color card and I decided to paint a donut. I've wanted to paint a donut ever since I started this challenge just because it seemed like fun, but was hesitant to attempt it. I have a silly mindset at approaching food painting sometimes because it's something people are familiar with looking at, and if it doesn't look appetizing, I feel like I sort of failed at painting it. Anyway, I quickly got over that way of thinking and decided to give it a go, and I feel like I did all right. I enjoyed the final process of painting the glaze dripping off the donut and adding in the white stripy icing on top. And you tell me if you feel like eating a chocolate donut after seeing this painting. Hi, this is day 73 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Sunshine color card, a lovely thing, sunshine. Well, what I'm painting is something that I would consider the opposite of lovely, bell peppers or capsicum. Someone asked me in the comments to paint something using only warm colors, so I thought this was fitting. Also, the green I am using is warm, okay? It's more yellow than blue. Anyway, back to why this is a cursed vegetable. When I was a kid, I would eat just about anything. Heck, I even put a red ant and a blade of grass in my mouth once. But one thing I took one bite of and it went flying across the room was a slice of bell pepper. As an adult, I avoid these. Roasted, they are okay, but they still disturb me on a level that not really any other vegetable does. Oh, and don't get me started on how hard they are to pick out of things because they either look like tomatoes or leafy greens. Painting them turned out pretty cool though. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 74 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 7726 color card and someone commented to paint something using shades of the same color that's on the card, and I went with this green, which is very similar to my green paint from the tube. I also used a little bit of black and white as well. I decided to try some green leaves, but I wanted to create layers of them like you would see in a shrub, going from a darker background into lighter leaves at the front. This was quite a difficult painting for me and took more time than usual. I'm happy with the result, but I can also see some areas that I could improve if I attempt another painting like this one. For example, making some of the top leaves look a little brighter to create more contrast so that they don't blend in as much. I'm really curious to hear what you thought of this painting, if you watched my other videos, if you see some improvements in my paintings overall. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 75 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Mimosa color card and I decided to paint something suggested in the comments by someone from Brazil, a jaguar. In writing my script for this video, I came across a short documentary called Jaguar Spirit: An Awakening Journey, directed by Emi Kondo, about illegal jaguar product trade in Bolivia. She talks about how humans once worshipped jaguars spiritually, but nowadays that relationship with nature has been severely distorted. Jaguars face increased risk from fire, habitat loss, and poaching in South America. I think it's really time we rebuild our relationship with not just this big charismatic cat, but also other iconic keystone apex predators. As for my painting, I really tried to capture the jaguar's serenity and muscular face. Hope you enjoyed this one and let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 76 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 7590 color card, which randomly matches my skin tone pretty well, and I decided to paint a suggestion from the comments, a fennec fox. So I realized this is not the exact color for a fennec fox. They are more yellowish in real life, but I don't have a lot of colors left, so I thought a pinkish fox could be just as nice to paint. I have seen a fennec fox at the zoo before, and it was probably one of the cutest things ever. Its large distinctive ears are used for listening to underground prey and dissipating heat in the deserts of North Africa where they are from. Also, they have really dense fur on their paw pads to help with walking on hot sandy soil, and they live in dug-up dens in stable sand dunes. Hope you enjoyed my rendition of this cute fox, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 77 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 7493 color card, and in the last few weeks, I released some videos of me painting cactuses on broken plate pieces, which did well and I enjoyed a lot, so I decided to revisit the subject of the cactus. Now, I know that I sometimes get a few upset comments about this, that I don't use the color on the card, but I'm going to be super honest. In this one, I thought I was, and I didn't realize that my base color for this cactus needed to be way lighter until I saw the video on camera afterwards. I seriously don't know how I missed it on the day, but I was painting with quite direct sunlight, so apologies. Anyway, it's a cactusy green, end of story. I didn't use any references and just allowed myself to freely paint. Hope you enjoyed my spiky cactus with pink bows, flowers, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 78 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 605 color card, and I am so excited to show you this painting because I feel like it's one of the better ones I have painted in this series, and it only took me like 12 minutes. A fried egg. I have seen many paintings of this subject from other artists, but had never attempted one for myself, and I'm so glad I did. I really enjoyed playing with the colors of the egg white, even adding in some browns, grays, yellows, and blues in there. Fried eggs are definitely something I plan on revisiting, perhaps with even more colors in the future, and I'm really proud that I was able to make it look 3D. Let me know what you thought of this painting, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 79 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 677 color card, and I decided to paint a unicorn. This color to me screamed 5-year-old birthday party, and that's where I'm taking it. Horses are not an easy painting subject, but I feel like I really nailed the basic face shape on this one. I wanted to give it a sort of magical feeling by making the hair and horn look shiny, and I couldn't stop myself from adding sparkles. Also, I can't believe I missed the little white smudge next to one of my perfect sparkles when I was painting. I only noticed it just now, and we can all pretend it's not there, okay? Fun fact, apparently in medieval and Renaissance times, the tusks of narwhals were sometimes sold as unicorn horns. Oh, how far we've come. Let me know what you would like to see me paint next. Hi, this is day 80 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 394 color card, and I decided to paint some pineapple. The best pineapple I've ever had has definitely been in southern Thailand. On summer breaks, we would drive down to the islands there, and the fruit was so good. This reminds me of my dad, who once on a holiday drank up a tiny islands resort whole pineapple supply because he would order like 3 to 4 pineapple shakes a day since they are his favorite. Anyway, I think I managed to match the yellow to the card very well in this painting. I was a little worried that it doesn't look like a pineapple, but by the end, I think the brown edges and white highlights really give it a juicy look. I also really like the yellow of the card peeking through the blue in the background, giving the whole painting a warm tropical feel. Let me know if you liked it, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 81 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Bright Violet color card, and I decided to paint a lightning strike. Apparently, the most common type of lightning is CG, or cloud to ground, but there's a less common type called GC lightning that goes the other way, from a tall grounded object up into the clouds above. Also, when I was little, my dad taught me to count the number of seconds between seeing the lightning flash and hearing the thunder, then divide by 3 to give an estimated distance in kilometers of the thunderstorm. You can do this because light travels much faster than sound, so we usually see the lightning first in the distance before hearing it. As for my painting, I enjoyed a more simple one, and hopefully it will be easy for you to try too, based on this video. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 82 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 5555 color card, and at first I didn't know what to do with this swampy grayish green color, but then I thought, koi fish. I've always loved this painting subject and wanted to do some for this challenge. I decided to go for many small ones swimming peacefully in a green pond. The original breeding of these ornamental carp began in Japan in the early 19th century. Nowadays, they come in many shades, and some can also be very expensive. The ecologist in me also has to mention that these fish are very invasive in their non-native landscapes, especially here in Australia, where they increase water turbidity. Humans are so silly introducing species everywhere, then spending tons of money to unsuccessfully try and get rid of them again. As for the painting, I honestly think the shadows were rushed a little. However, I really enjoyed the orange and white contrast of the fish and cute water ripples. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 83 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 535 color card and I am painting a whale tail or its flukes. Also, don't look up whale tail on Wikipedia because, surprise, surprise, humans have found an alternative meaning to it, which I was unaware of until right this second. Or look it up, I don't care. Anyway, back to my painting. I am really happy with the slight pinkish gradient of the sky. I feel like it really makes the tail pop. I also enjoyed the splashes of little droplets I created to show how it just breached the surface. Whales rely a lot on their tails to propel them through the water, and this extraordinary behavior of tail slapping is hypothesized to be for attracting mates, communicating to other whales to back off, playfulness, or scaring prey when foraging. I hope you enjoyed this painting, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 84 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Red Plum color card and I am painting a happy little octopus. We are going for a more illustrative look today. I was actually thinking of the octopus I painted on my mirror a while back. If you wanted to check out that video, it's on my channel. That painting sits in my bedroom and I see it all the time, so why not create another version? Alright, octopus anatomy fun fact time. They have 3 hearts, and although they have 8 limbs, usually 6 act like arms and 2 like legs. They also have a siphon, a strong muscular tube that allows them to blast water and swim backwards, even in short bursts of up to 40 kilometers an hour. As for my painting, I'm really happy with the red plum color matching for this one, and the final touches like the circular suckers on the tentacles and bubbles floating around it really give it a happy, fun look. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 85 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Coral Haze color card and I am painting a peaceful coastline sunset with a lighthouse on an island in the distance. There are a couple of reasons I am really happy with this painting. I blended my colors into the card very well, keeping the shades similar and placing light and shadows in the correct spots. The shadow of the lighthouse itself is something I wouldn't have thought about adding to my painting before I started practicing more seriously this past year, and just small details like this can really help improve your paintings. So I'm really proud of myself for visualizing and executing it way better than I imagined I would. Very excited at the prospect of painting more complex landscape in the future similar to this one, and hey, maybe I'm starting to not dislike orangey and warm tones so much. Hope this inspired you to try painting a landscape too. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 86 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Limeade color card and I recently rewatched the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which has inspired me to paint a Hobbit home. I didn't use any references here and just painted what was in my head. I'm really happy with quite a few elements of this painting, like the shadows I created around the door and steps to make them look like they're actually sitting inside the dugout hill. Also, the texture of the grass and sky really give it a whimsical feeling. One day, maybe I will visit New Zealand to see the built movie set with these charming little hobbit holes. I only have 14 cards left in this series, so if you have any other last-minute painting requests, make them now. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 87 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 9320 color card and I was inspired by the cutest, sassiest, bounciest girly on the internet right now, Mudang, the pygmy hippo. Although she's been on people's feeds consistently for the past week, I bet many might not know that this species is endangered. Their habitat is vanishing due to commercial plantations, illegal logging, mineral extraction, and they are also hunted. At this point, the survival of the species in zoos is more certain than their survival in the wild, which is crazy to think about. As for this painting, I hope I captured the terror and playfulness of this baby hippo's scream. My favorite are her pink skin rolls, the white highlights making her look slippery yet moisturized, and the little heart showing the love radiating out of her. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 88 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 9044 color card, and I had little thoughts while I was painting this, okay? My only two thoughts were florals and vintage, and then I just started. I wanted to try something with slightly more muted tones and make it feel more nostalgic instead of using vivid colors as I normally paint with. On some days, it's a lot of effort to create something very amazing, and I just wanted to say to fellow artists that it's okay to just paint and not worry about the outcome. Allowing myself this time to paint freely really calms me and reminds me of why I started painting in the first place. Overall, I think this turned into a peaceful and cute card, but let me know what you think. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 89 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 656 color card, and I'm painting one of my favorite dishes from my recent trip to Japan, ramen. This iconic noodle, served in a rich broth, has many regional variations and is eaten in over 24,000 shops across Japan. The history of ramen is still debated, but it's probably safe to say it originated in the early 20th century when Chinese immigrants began selling it in Japan. The new food from back then slowly became the Japanese dish we know and love today. I decided to paint some of my favorite toppings: nori or dry seaweed, braised pork, green onion, boiled egg, and veggies. I'm particularly happy with how I managed to paint the noodles with soup shadows underneath them to make it look like individual pieces. Hope you liked it, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 90 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I can't believe it, there are just 10 more cards left to go. I picked the Pantone Seafoam Green color card, and I decided to paint some matcha ice cream. I used a reference photo that I took myself on my recent trip to Japan of me holding this ice cream cone. This was one of my favorite desserts there, and the more I would walk around, it became pretty hard to pass up on all the different matcha flavored items I could find. As for my painting, I really liked the little illusions of swirls I was able to paint in on my three-tiered soft serve and the small square details of the waffle cone. Of course, at this point, no painting of mine is complete without some tiny hearts. Let me know what some of your favorite ice cream flavors are, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 91 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 345 color card, and this color reminded me of the roof of Osaka Castle from my most recent trip to Japan. On the day I took this reference photo, it was boiling hot and the skies were a clear blue with few clouds. The sun was shining on the castle's green roof, making the golden details sparkle and very visible from the distance. As for my painting, I am quite proud of the layering I was able to create. I think this is a good improvement in how I now approach landscape paintings, and although my shrubbery is not perfect close up, I really like how it came out from afar, covering the stone wall. I hope I did this famous recognizable landmark justice. Let me know what you think, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 92 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Peach Pearl color card, and I decided to paint something suggested in my comments: a stack of wet soapy dishes. This prompt sounded like a challenge for me since I feel like I usually don't do too well with human-made objects. I also couldn't find a single good reference photo of what the heck painted soapy foam is supposed to look like, so I made it up from my brain while painting. I imagined some terracotta dishes as the vibe matched the background color and painted lots of tiny circles as soap bubbles and foam, eventually deciding to cover the whole bottom surface with them. I slightly worry that it isn't clear at first what this painting is supposed to be, like it requires more staring at it to understand it. Overall though, interesting prompt and I enjoyed painting it, but let me know what you think, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 93 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 3278 color card, a nice solid green, and I decided to paint these amazing flowers from a photo I snapped. I recently took a walk around the neighborhood and came across them. I don't know a lot about all the different types, but these stood out right away. I looked them up and they're called grand daisies, a bigger, bolder, intergeneric hybrid cross between the Argyranthemum and Ismelia genre, for all you plant people out there. As for my painting, I love that I was able to replicate some of the stripy pinks and reds on the petals and the green foliage underneath. I also really like the red and green contrast, reminding me of Christmas coming up. Let me know what you thought of this painting, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 94 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Willow Bow color card, and I am painting something quite specific, slightly niche, but that's been living rent-free in my head. The holding space meme of Ariana grabbing Cynthia's single manicured pointer finger to comfort her during an interview. Every time I see it, it just makes me giggle at the silliness. As of today, I have watched Wicked the movie, and I do have to say it was very good. I had never seen the original Broadway version, but just knew some of the songs. Defying Gravity really hit me in the cinemas and was definitely a tearjerker. Lovely sets and color in the film, plus great singing. As for my painting, I enjoyed the contrast of the green elements with the skin tones and was fearful that I couldn't paint the hands, yet by the end, I think I conveyed the claw finger grip quite well. Let me know what you think. I have 6 cards left in this painting challenge. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 95 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 9041 color card, and in the spirit of Christmas, I am painting a nice wintry landscape snow globe. I've always loved these transparent decorative spheres and usually get quite excited when I see a new one somewhere. I have a few Christmas snow globes, and I'm that person that just keeps them out throughout the entire year just because I like picking them up and giving them a swirl from time to time. As for the painting, I really enjoyed the tiny Christmassy lights I painted on the house edges and pine trees, plus the sparkly snowflakes bringing the magic of the globe together in the end. Happy Christmas if you're celebrating, and I only have a few cards left of this challenge, so see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 96 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Citron color card, and I am painting one of my favorite treats I usually get on a warm day, bubble tea. Now, I'm going to be honest, this dull yellow was not very inspiring to me, but I did try to run with it. I feel like I nailed the glass or cup shape with the little tapioca pearls at the bottom, but all hell broke loose when I tried to paint in a straw, and it has not been the same ever since. I changed the color of it like 5 times and finally settled on this whatever brown, which I still don't think I enjoy, and I feel like for some reason my drink is green and gray in places it shouldn't be. Anyway, let me know what you thought about this painting, since I have clearly some very mixed feelings about it, and see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 97 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 691 color card, and I am painting a nice background turnip as a start to the scene I'm about to create. A couple videos ago, someone in the comments asked me to paint a naked mole rat, and of course I will oblige. These wrinkly creatures have some very unique traits that allow them to live in the harsh underground environment. For example, they are the only mammal thermoconformer, which means that they can adopt the surrounding temperature as their own body temperature. They also have resistance to cancer and oxygen deprivation. As for the painting, don't ask me what prompted me to paint a green top hat on this sand puppy. I just did, okay? I think it looks kind of cute, reminds me of something out of a kid's storybook, but let me know what you think. See you in the next one. Hi, this is day 98 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone Violet Ice color card, and some of these muted final color cards are not super inspiring for me, but to make me feel better, I just decided to give myself a break, use the color as a background, and paint some of my favorite sweet treats, macarons. I also tried something new with my paint, mixing yellow ochre into all the colors I used. I keep seeing skilled painters do this to form a more cohesive painting. However, I'm still not entirely convinced it's the right improvement move for my paintings. I sometimes feel that this blends the colors into each other, and although it can look more realistic, I enjoy the more saturated look. Anyway, let me know what you think of my cute sandwich cookies, and gosh, only 2 cards left in this series, so I'll see you in the next one. Hi, this is day 99 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. I picked the Pantone 600 color card and I am painting a seahorse. This whole series is almost complete now and I couldn't be more excited to eventually look back at everything I have painted for the past 2 years and show it to y'all too, of course. Seahorses have some unique anatomy compared to other fish. They have bony plates covering their bodies instead of scales, and I tried to replicate these with the green shading between the yellow stripes I was painting. I also decided to give its body some small dotted textures, and I did something which people seem to not like when I do, cover up the background with a darker, different color. I started to think of the pale yellow in Starry Night while I was painting, so I did some circular starry night imitations in the background, which I really feel tied this painting all together in the end. Only one card left for me to paint now. Tell me what you think I will paint on it, and see you in the final one. Hi, this is day 100 of my 100 Pantone card painting challenge. The card I'm painting is number 4545, and I'm ending it off with a peaceful landscape because, you know what, after all these cards, I want to take it back to the basics of me enjoying painting nature. For this painting, a few well-placed brushstrokes and values gave it an obvious back, middle, and foreground with all the elements working cohesively together. I can see my technique has certainly improved as I've learned how to use acrylic gouache and how to approach a painting more methodically when I'm staring at a blank canvas. I've also posted a full video linked below where I show you all 100 paintings and reflect on what I learned from this long challenge which I've thrown myself into for the past 2 years. And with that, this series is complete. So on to the next project I go. See you in the next one.